entered the building. How was Ntanzi in Pukeng at 22:42 and in Pretoria North at 22:45? Now, if you couldn't identify the second intruder just 2 days after the incident happened, how are you now so confident, Tumelo? If you are doing a voluntary confession, why would you mislead the police? They arrested him for the Nongoma case, but we're already taking swabs for Fossler's case. Njani. Nisi set a trap and Mogola fell straight into it. Mogola is on Operation Deny All.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull an next 10. Like Daddy, Stacy, all of the Barbies is pretty. Damn, all of the Barbies is bad.
Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nobazi Ntombela, also known as Wazibe on all social media platforms. Do subscribe, be a part of this family. And if you're a returning subby, welcome back, darling. Guys, I'm back with the proceedings in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And guys, the court is literally burning, like it's burning, it's falling apart, it's all these things. So let us get right into the proceedings of the 22nd of April. Mogola continued with his cross-examination of Sergeant Mogola, and all I can say is Mogola is on Operation Deny All. Baby girl is denying knowledge of every single thing that is in a docket that she is said to be the investigating officer for. Literally every single thing, she has no details about. So Gomezulu cross-examined her. Her answers were very vague. Her answers were giving, no, I don't know about that. I wasn't told about that. I wasn't briefed about that. Please ask Kaninda. Literally. And all I can say is that 375 has entered the building, okay? 375 has entered the building because Mgomezulu broke it down to us what was going on with regards to 375. He literally told us what happened with the investigations in 2019, what happened with the statements that were taken from the witnesses in the house. Everything, he broke it down, and I could feel the court shaking, like quite literally. Another thing that I really was asking myself questions about is the fact that Mogola says that accused number 1 was misleading the police. Now, if you are doing a voluntary confession, why would you mislead the police? Why would you do that? Please tell me. Mgomezulu completed his cross-examination of Mogola on Monday, and Ramusipili started his cross-examination, and the one question that he was touching on is the fact that Mogola was present when accused number 2 got his swabs taken, and according to Mogola's evidence, she was not present, and the swabs were given to her by Sergeant Mogane. So that was a bit of the argument between the two, and we left off with those sort of questions from Uramusipeli. And on Tuesday, the 23rd of April, we had the issue of Mr. Hos, who was meant to come back on Tuesday. However, because of the Section 205s that are missing, Hos was unable to continue with this cross-examination, and he says that he has received the Section 205s and he will go over the data and basically be able to come back and give the evidence with regards to the Section 205, which I don't get why he didn't get in the beginning, because Steyn was said to be retiring. So why didn't Steyn just hand over everything to Hos? I really don't get it. But yeah, the decision that the judge took is that Hos will come back on Monday for cross-examination by the defense. And the one issue that Numalo and Mshololo are raising is that the two numbers specifically that they're looking for with the Section 205 are not there. So Baloyi basically kept saying, no, he gave this information to the defense in October last year, and so Mshololo then says, if you gave us this information, okay, it's fine, let me cross-examine. Please, can you beam that information on the screen? What's it? So basically, they basically stood the issue down of the Section 205s, and everything should be available by Monday. So hopefully on Monday, we'll get to see what really links these people with regards to the cell phone communication, as well as when was this communication said to have happened. Because we want to see dates from before 26 October 2014 going backwards, not dates are recent. Anyway, Ramusipile continued with this cross-examination, and Ramusipile came with the most vital thing in his cross-examination of Mogola, where he says, you know, I've got statements from the people that were in the house, and a statement from Miss Steenkamp, or Detective Steenkamp, who is a person who did the identikits in this case. And he basically reads the statement of Steenkamp, which states that the witnesses came to her to give description of the people that entered the house, and these were the descriptions that were given. She talks about Kelly Kumalo, who described the first intruder as very aggressive, short, dark in complexion. Accused number 3 is not dark. Dark in complexion, had a gold tooth, and had dreadlocks up to his cheek. And yeah, basically those were the descriptions that she gave, or as well as the clothing that he was wearing, that khaki jacket. So that was Kelly Kumalo's description, and she was unable to describe the second intruder. The second person that came to her was Uzandi, who had the same description as Kelly Kumalo of the first suspect, and the only thing that she did add with regards to the first suspect were the eyebrows. She mentioned something about his eyebrows, and when she was asked to describe the second intruder, she couldn't remember. Tumelo, same story. Longwe Twala as well says that Longwe says that the second intruder was tall but light in complexion. Ntanzi is not light, but all of them are in agreement that the first intruder was dark in complexion. So Ramusipile basically points out that the description that was given of the accused is really not matching with the people that are here before the court. But not only that, all of the people who were witnesses, who were inside the house, who alleged that they were intruders, all couldn't identify the second intruder. Now, if you couldn't identify the second intruder just 2 days after the incident happened, how are you now so confident, Tumelo, in saying accused number 2 is the person that Senzo held because you were so close, you saw him very well, and you even punched him in the face? 2, Zandi, how can you now describe accused number 2 by saying the kitchen was so small, so all of us were close together, so he was pretty close, and I even took Tumelo's crutches and I hit him with it, but you were unable to describe him 2 days after the incident? Ramusipile then says, well, Ms. Steenkamp's statement says this, and being a police officer who's been in the force for 22 years, do you think that she would lie about what these people told her? And Mogola says no comments. Ngumalo's questions, he tried to question the witness, and everything Mogola was answering was, ask Geninda. I can't remember. I wasn't told. So Ngumalo just says, you know, because this witness doesn't want to answer the questions, I have no further questions. Mshololo cross-examines as well, and still it's deny by Mogola. And the most important question that was asked by Mshololo was, okay, you were part of an investigating team. Are you trying to tell me that there were no briefs that were done during these investigations? So when you did your own thing, that person did another thing. You never ever, not even once during this course of the investigation, came together and actually updated each other or briefed each other as to how far this case is going? No answer. On the 24th, on Wednesday, Ngumalo basically had an issue with regards to the DNA results. He had said that the DNA results were negative, and the judge says, no, they were inconclusive. So Ngumalo came back on Wednesday and said, well, yesterday we had the issue of the DNA results where I said they were negative and the court says they were inconclusive. But the correct term actually is that the DNA results excluded the donors. Now, guys, I would like to take a minute and put the definitions of all these words, because the judge is on some non-conclusive and excluded mean the same thing. No, it does not, Judge Rata. When they say excluded, this is what they mean. Okay, and when they say that it's non-conclusive, this is what it means. So in actual fact, the negative and the excluded are closer together, or they're closer to what the results were. Basically, these people were not at the crime scene, or their DNA was not found at the crime scene. So Mnisi, during his cross-examination, because he was not present on Tuesday, then during his cross-examination of Sergeant Mogola, basically picks up on the issue of the DNA from Umumalo and brings it into his first question, where he says, these people were not included. Their DNA was excluded from the crime scene, which means that it's negative, basically. And when he asked Mogola, what was your understanding of the results of the DNA was, she says that Gininda told her that even though the results are like this, it doesn't mean that they weren't there. It just means that there wasn't enough DNA. And I'm like, the girl is delusional. She has lost her goddamn mind. And then Mnisi, who had 0 F's to give, basically says, well, I'm going to tell you right now that what Gininda told you about those DNA results is hogwash. It's nonsense. The judge then calls Mnisi to order and says, no, what you're saying is wrong. And Baloyi also objects and says the language is not... And Mnisi repeats himself and says, no, it's nonsense. It does not make sense what Gininda is saying. This is what the results say. This is what they mean. What Gininda told you does not make any sense. And then just before he continues with his cross-examination, he then just sort of reminds the witness that you're here to assist the court. And although you're the investigating officer of this case, when you come into the court, you are an officer of the court. And the witness is like, you don't need to tell me this. I already know this, and. And as Mnisi was continuing to say, no, but this is what I'm saying, the judge says, no, that question is not allowed, basically. And when Mnisi says, on what basis is the question not allowed? The judge basically says, well, because I'm the judge. And I was like, he's not laying any basis why he's not allowing the question. He's just telling Mnisi that he's the boss, basically. The cross-examination by Mnisi continues, and what I can say about Advocate Mnisi is he is a very intelligent man, because Mnisi set a trap and Mogola fell straight into it. Okay, she fell right into it. So Mnisi basically just said a whole lot of things about accused number 3 will come and tell the court that he was not involved. Accused number 3 will come and tell the court that he doesn't even know Kelly Kumalo. And all the time when he's busy putting these little points, Mogola, after having not answered any of the questions, saying that she had no information, she wasn't briefed, she doesn't know, then says, no, but the evidence says that this person is involved. When Mnisi says, no, the witness will come and say he never knew accused number 1 and 2 until the first day in court. Mogola says, no, but the evidence says. And then Mnisi is like, what evidence are you talking about? Because you told us that you don't know any of the evidence, you don't have details of the evidence. And I was like, oh, good catch, Mnisi. So that was the proceedings for Wednesday. And the surprising thing about Mogola is that when Baloyi was re-examining her, all of a sudden she now remembered everything. All of a sudden she had answers. And I was like, does she think we're stupid? Because we're watching this case, and she became very evasive with the defense. However, when Baloyi is re-examining, she tends to remember things. She even remembers who took the swabs on Untanzi, of which she had denied the day before. So it was very surprising to me. And just before the proceedings ended, it was brought to our attention that Advocate Mngomezulu has seen 2 suspicious men near his home, and he feels like he's a bit threatened. And this is after he had basically pointed out or signaled that he will want to call Chico Twala, Ivan Koza, and the likes, Sfiso, Meyiwa, and certain other individuals that he mentioned when he was cross-examining Mogola. And the judge basically just says that Mngomezulu should open a case and he should be protected, because these sort of allegations are very serious, or these sort of things are very serious. We never know what these people actually want to do to him. So we hope that Mngomezulu is safe. We hope that he's protected. May God really just protect him. And then we are back on Thursday, which is today. I'm recording this on a Thursday. And the proceedings so far, we have a new witness who is Sergeant Mashale. And now, guys, immediately when this witness comes before the court, I'm just like, she's a liar. So Sergeant Mashale is said to be the person who took the swabs on Undanzi on the 16th of June. Now, she comes before the court and she tells us that she was on duty on the 16th of June, and Mogane approached her to do swabs because they're busy with an investigation. So she says that she took the kids and she went into the cells with Mogane. They showed her the accused and she did the test. Now, this is the interesting part. She says that she took these swabs on the 16th of June at 22:45. Guys, Undanzi was in Pukeng at 22:42. Please make it make sense. And I will break it down step by step because I follow evidence. Now, guys, as I said, I write notes. I write notes all the time when I watch this trial. And when this lady came before the court and she says she took these swabs on the 16th of June, 2022 at 22:45, I was like, hold on, wait. I have proof and records that prove that this is a lie. And I won't say she's misinforming the court. I will tell you it is a straight up lie, because I went to my other book from last year and I went to the evidence of Sergeant Mogane. Now, on the 2nd of November 2023, Mogane was on the stand and this is what he had to say. Let me just get it quickly. Right. He says that Exhibit MM on Tuesday, the 16th of June 2020, the OB book with serial number 467, the time is 22:42. It's written in transit, right? One suspect for Nongoma case 16310 of 2018. Now, Mngomezulu on the 9th of November, on the 6th of November, during cross-examination says, hold on. Yes, during cross-examination says, on Exhibit MM at 22:42, on the 16th of June, it says booked in serial number 467 and it says in transit. What does that mean? Mogane's response is, it means he was not staying at the Pukeng police station and we were traveling with him. So basically we booked him in the Pukeng police station only to drive through with him all the way to Pretoria North. So how was Ndanzi in two places at once? How was Ndanzi in Pukeng at 22:42 and in Pretoria North at 22:45? Please explain to me now. That wasn't the only interesting thing about this person's evidence. The other thing is that she says that when she took the swabs, they were said to be for case number 63610 of 2014. Now, if you remember correctly, the evidence of Mogane says Ndanzi was arrested for case number 163 Nongoma. So they arrested him for the Nongoma case, but were already taking swabs for Fosler's case, Njani. It really is interesting times. I'm waiting for them to come back from lunch and I will update you as to what happens the rest of the day today and as well as tomorrow. So we're back after lunch and Ramasipili started his cross-examination of the witness, and I'm so upset that he didn't press on the issue of the date and the time because the girl lied. But the most important thing that Ramasipili pressed on was the issue of the Nongoma case, because Mogane has given evidence that the accused was arrested on the 16th. However, he was arrested on the Nongoma case 163 of 10 of 2018. So they pressed on that, and the lady just says, I don't have any information with regards to any other case. When I asked Mogane about the case number, he gave me case number 636 of 10 of 2014. So this is very important because Mogane, even after cross-examination, denied the fact that they were questioning him on the Senzo Meyiwa case case on the 16th, and he says that they arrested him on the Nongoma case. Even when he was booked into the police station, in the OB books it reflects the Nongoma case 16310 of 2018. So it should be interesting how things will go down. After the cross-examination was completed, we then went into the statements or bank records of the accused, and Sibanda basically started reading the bank statement of accused number 1, which is Umuzi Sbiya, and it is a statement from Capitec. He went through some transactions from October right through to the end of 2015, and basically we got a view of the transactions that he was busy doing. And what I did pick up from the transactions is that Moses Biya was in Johannesburg during 2014. That doesn't prove anything, but considering the fact that Ramusipile had once put a version that after he lost his job, he went to KZN. That is a bit of a problem for me, but we will continue with the bank statement issues. And the one thing that Mngomezulu is disputing is basically the accurateness of the statements, and he says that he is disputing the statements, and basically we'll get to hear tomorrow what other information they have on the statement and what other transactions they'll be able to pick up. But just from Muzi's transactions, there isn't anything suspicious about the transactions. There isn't any large amounts of money that were deposited into his account. He did receive some money from SARS, I'm guessing from tax returns, and another transaction of about 4,000 Rand or 4,500 if I'm not mistaken. Those are the only basic transactions that went into his account. Lots of withdrawals, lots of prepaid purchases, and that was about it. Nothing suspicious, nothing that raises eyes basically with regards to his transactions. So I'll be back tomorrow with an update and let you guys how the proceedings went. Let me apologize if there is a change in lighting. It is another day. Today is Friday, the 26th of April, and in court today we basically were going to continue to hear the evidence of the bank statements of the accused. However, Advocate Mngomezulu for accused number 1 was not in court because he is not feeling well. He had asked Mshololo to represent him. So the judge was upset with the fact that Mngomezulu didn't communicate with him directly, of which Mshololo says, well, the procedure says we need to communicate with you via the registrar, and that is what Mngomezulu has done, but the judge says no, they need to communicate with him directly. But bottom line is that when the evidence of the bank records was said to be read, okay, firstly, Numalo doesn't have any objections with submitting the statements for accused number 4. Mshololo as well agreed that the statements for accused number 5 with regards to the Capitec statement, she's happy with them being submitted without being read onto the record. And then when it came to accused number 1, Sibiya, when it came to accused number 1, obviously because Mngomezulu is not there, Mshololo was asked if they will be submitting the statements, and Mshololo says she was not given instruction by Mngomezulu. We then went on a break to try and contact Mngomezulu to find out what the instructions are, and it was basically said that the accused will need to go through the statements and then they'll need to consult. So basically today was a waste of time. Those were the proceedings for today. We will continue on Monday, and hopefully on Monday we will go on with the evidence of the